One of the pleasures of being a portrait photographer are the often fascinating conversations we have with our subjects. In this short film, I share my conversation with the Methodist minister, Hilda Campbell. So Hilda, what does faith mean to you?
Wow. Trust in my heavenly being. Not always knowing what the outcome is, but I tell the people that I pastor that once I was aware of this whole faith thing, I used to say, Lord, I want your will for my life. Nothing more, nothing less, and nothing else. And that's how I started getting my mindset away from that place of being filled with the rage and the anger. And so faith became real, because I was going to church all my life. But I guess it was around maybe 26, 27, when faith kicked in. She brought me money one night to take this class at the Bible college. And I started taking classes, and I don't know, I guess it was a couple years, and then Dr. Maloney said, Hilda, because he kept asking me about preaching on a Sunday. I said, not me. And I just kept saying no, 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 and finally he said, I think it was October 23rd. October the 23rd, you're gonna be in the pulpit. You can prepare a sermon, or you can just come and look at the congregation, but that's gonna be your job for the morning. And that's how I ended up. Jesus was about action. He didn't go into a place and see people broken or hurting or in need and just walk away and leave them there. He was always about either doing something or gathering some people together to make some things happen and to change situations. And I think that's why I work so hard at trying to do many things when I could be sitting home just watching TV, when you become retired, most people flip the remote, I think because we were a segregated country from the get, and so it's hard for people to change what they do unless they're intentional. And you've got to make effort to make it happen. Music's different, people are different, the food is different. And so many things are different that, nobody wants to give up what they're accustomed to. Why it's so hard for people just to treat people fairly. You don't have to agree with everyone. But there's so much, and especially now, with the chaos that's going on in our country, so much animosity. And I look at the leader that we have, and he talks about sending the immigrants back. Who does the growing of the food, the harvesting of the food, the cleaning of the hotels, the cooking of many of the restaurants? And then he goes and brings 2 women back to this country that are from other countries, and then goes and gets one of them's parents and bring them back. That's okay for him to do, because he's rich and white. I don't know, I really don't. I went to my class reunion, and we were sitting at the table with a bunch of my old friends, and they're sitting there talking about me like I wasn't at the table. Can you believe she's a pastor? One of them was a member at one of the other churches. She was our pastor. That doesn't make sense. Do you remember her when she was in school? It's like, do y'all know I'm at this table? Because there's no way in the world I would have ever dreamed that would have been an avenue that I would have taken or ended up on. Because I didn't decide to do it. It was just the desire to get closer to God, to be able to do some things that would change other people's lives because of how my life was impacted once I turned over my will and my evil ways or angry ways and decided to do things differently. Well, before I was a chaplain for the Chester Police Department, I was a chaplain for Methodist Hospital. I had one young lady, her baby died during the night. And I think she must have rolled over on it in the bed or whatever. And when they came out and told her that the baby was dead, she just like went berserk. On the floor, crying and kicking and whatever. And when I tried to talk, she didn't want to talk. I asked her if she wanted me to pray with her. She didn't want me to pray with her. But I stayed, kicking and screaming, yelling and cussing, but I stayed. And that was one of the things they tell us, that even when the people don't want you there, it's that moment that they're stuck in and the trauma has put them into that place, but they still need you there, whether they want you verbally to be there or not. And so after she finally got herself a little more calm, and then they were going to let her go in and see the baby before they allowed the coroner to take it, I asked her, I said, would you want me to pray with you now? And she said yes. The Creator, the one who establishes who we are, He created the world. And you got to believe that because you didn't do it. Even we got all these people who think they're powerful and they're full of knowledge and they're full of capabilities. Something had to happen for this world to be here and for men and women to create another being, and then they create other beings. And so you and I didn't do this by ourselves. So there had to be a creator. An individual gets to choose how they're impacted and how it changes their mode of operation. That's what I believe. You can decide whether you're going to believe there's a God, that you follow the rules that you say. People go to church all the time, and sometimes even in church do things that are not acceptable. Mm-hmm. But if you believe and trust that there is a God who sits high and looks low, then there's a way that you should conduct yourself even when you're not happy about the way things happen. I'm diligent, I'm determined, I'm hardworking. It's not easy for me to walk away and say I'm not going to do something when I know that I'm capable of doing it. There's been times when I've done things that I really didn't even want to do. I gave a guy my lunch. Well, not my lunch, but I had extra lunch. And he shoved me one morning. And walking away was not what I wanted to do. I had been trying to get him to go to AA because he was a drunk. And you could tell he was a drunk. You could smell it. I've seen him with the bottle in the truck. Now, in reality, he shouldn't have had it on the job site, but he did. And I had set up an appointment for him on 2 occasions to go to AA, and he wouldn't go. And then over the weekend, he had an accident and tore up a couple chain link fences and hit a car, and then showed up to work. His father had to bring him to work. His father was mad and cussing and coming to me to complain about having to bring a grown A man to work because he didn't have sense enough on how to stay sober to go to work. And so the father's telling me about the issue, and then he comes to me and wants sympathy. I said, you are that grown young man that needs to do what you need to do to get your stuff straightened out. And he shoved me. You are no kind of minister. You don't even know what it is to be a minister. I did not want to punch him in the face because I knew that wasn't the right thing to do. But I wanted to punch that man in the face so bad until I could taste it. It's gotta have something to do with this whole race and politics and access, denial, education, because if America is so great and everybody looks at us as the center of success around the world, and they're allowing the things to happen today that we continue to say we're getting better and we're doing DEI, and instead of embracing it and seeing that it does make a difference when we embrace each other and recognize that we are more in common with each other than we are different and separated from one another, how can they allow these things to go on and pretend it's okay?